Susan, come here.
Who do you doing? I'm coming out with a knife.
Drop the knife. Drop the knife. Drop the knife. Drop the knife. Drop.
The call comes in at night. A woman says she thinks she is having a heart attack. The dispatcher asks for her address. She doesn't know. The dispatcher asks her to find a piece of mail, to look at her phone, to find any way to identify where she is. She can't. She doesn't know where she is and she cannot help them find her. The dispatcher asks the question that hangs over the entire call. How do you expect someone to come find you? The line goes quiet. The number is traced. A name comes back, Suzanne Clark. An address is located. Officers are dispatched. It is the last moment of the evening that feels straightforward.
Hello?
What is
I think I'm having a heart attack.
I need the address of your emergency.
Um,
What's the address?
I don't know.
You don't know the address?
I don't know.
Where are you?
I don't know.
Okay, can you find a piece of mail?
When officers arrive at the address, the front door is locked. They can see inside through a window. Suzanne is there. She is alive. She appears conscious. An officer calls to her. She responds. She says she called 911 but she is feeling better now. She does not want to speak with them further. The officer asks her to come to the door. She says no. He reminds her she called saying she was having a heart attack. She says she didn't feel well but she feels fine now. He asks her to come to the window and talk to them. She walks to the back of the house.
I can't.
You can't. You don't know where you are and you can't find a piece of mail. You can't look on your phone and see where you are?
No.
Okay, so how do you expect someone to come find you? How are we going to send help to you?
Okay.
Who am I speaking with?
Suzanne Clark.
What's your name? Hello?
The number comes back to Suzanne Clark. A hemlock from past calls.
10-4. Trying to make contact still. Front door's locked. I'm not seeing anyone inside right now. Hello? It's right here. Hello?
Can you come to the door? It's Lacey Police. Are you Suzanne? Yeah. Can you come to the door, please? Sure, why? You called 911. I wasn't feeling well. I apologize. All right, can you just open the door so we can talk to you? We just want to make sure you're okay, ma'am. You called 911. I'm here. I'm okay. You said you were having a heart attack.
I feel better. I'm walking around.
131 headquarters. 131 headquarters.
131.
Made contact with Suzanne through the window. Stated she did call 911 and feels better now. And she does not want to speak to us further.
Came back up to the window. We're talking to her. That's Suzanne. She's like, I said, can you come to the door? She said, no, I'm okay. I said, you called 911, so you're at a heart attack. She said, yeah, I didn't feel well, but I feel fine.
All right.
She keeps going. She just grabbed the bag from the kitchen. She keeps walking back to the. If you stand here, you can see a back room with a light on.
Suzanne! What's her name? Suzanne?
Suzanne, yeah.
Suzanne! Ma'am, we just need to talk to you. You called and said you were having a heart attack. Can you come to the front door and talk to us, please?
No, I'm right here.
Okay, can you come to the window and talk to us? Something.
She's went that way. She just yelled no.
Yeah, something's not.
Something's not right.
Officers stay at the property. They observe through the window. Suzanne is moving into the kitchen, toward the back, into the bathroom. She calls out that she is in the bathroom and wants to be left alone. An officer notes to his colleague that something is not right. He is correct. Something is not right. Officers watch through the glass as Suzanne goes to the ground inside the house. She is lying down. She is not responding to calls. Officers try to determine what room she is in, what she is doing, whether she is in medical distress. And then one of the officers sees something that changes everything. There is a dog inside the house. The dog has a knife in it. Suzanne has stabbed the animal. The officers' reactions are immediate and unguarded. The shock of what they are seeing, confirmed among themselves in rapid succession. She stabbed the dog. There is a knife in the dog. That explains the yelping they heard moments earlier. The situation has crossed from a welfare check into something that requires entry. Officers begin attempting to breach the door. They count. They coordinate. One identifies a window. They are moving with urgency but with procedure. Not panicking, not abandoning protocol, but accelerating through it because the woman inside is unpredictable and an animal is already injured and no one knows what comes next.
Okay, I mean...
She's on the ground right here.
She's on the ground?
She's on the ground, like hiding. Look, she's
So
really
what
hiding.
is... something's...
I could see her.
She just said she went to the back bathroom.
Look down there. You can see her.
We're not spying. Ma'am, you called and said you're having a heart attack. Ma'am, take a break.
Wait, who is she calling?
We're not harassing you, okay? Something's not right.
Okay. Ma'am, we need you to sign paperwork. You called 911.
Hey! Yes.
I want everybody to know that this.
Suzanne.
Man, you called 911. We're trying to speak with you.
You're not in trouble. We just want to make sure.
Oh, come on.
Suzanne, we just want to make sure you're okay.
Guys. We have no history with her?
Nothing.
Nothing came up when I put her name in for
Yeah.
Okay, quarters 1011, two more phone
Let me
numbers.
just take my... Let me just...
Good. Area codes.
Yeah, she stabbed the my knife. Dog. She fucking stabbed the dog. There's a knife in the dog.
Is that why there was the yelping?
There's a knife in the dog.
1 second.
Yeah.
Surprise that for now.
She stabbed the dog. She stabbed the dog.
She stabbed the dog?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, we're back. Fucking two. Let's go 1, 2, 3. Ready?
Slide.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Jesus. All right.
We got that slider.
We could break right through it. All right, I could bust right this through the window. Get this lift.
I can see the dog right here. Susan, come here.
Who do you go? Come out with a knife.
Drop the knife. Drop the knife. Drop the knife. Drop the knife. Drop the knife, Susan.
Drop the knife.
Get your taser.
They get inside. Suzanne has a knife. Officers command her to drop it. Once, twice, 3 times, 4, 5. The commands are clear and repeated. The standard procedure, documented on camera, giving every possible opportunity for compliance before any further action. She does not drop the knife. A shot is fired. In the seconds that follow, officers do 2 things simultaneously. They secure the weapon. They call for medical. One officer checks on his colleagues. Cops are good, he says, meaning no officers are down. Another calls for a first aid kit. They move to Suzanne. They ask her to roll toward them. They get the knife away from her. They begin applying pressure to her wounds. The transcript ends there. What happened to Suzanne after those first minutes of medical care? Whether she survived, what the investigation determined, what if any charges were filed, is not available in the material provided for this video. What is available is everything that led up to that moment, captured on body cam in real time with no edits and no warnings. Let me be direct about what this footage shows and what it raises. Suzanne called 911. She said she was having a heart attack. She could not provide her address. She could not describe where she was. When officers arrived, she refused to let them in. She told them she was fine. And then she stabbed her dog with a knife and refused to drop it when officers entered her home. None of that narrative is simple or clean. A woman who calls 911 saying she is having a heart attack and then tells the responding officers to leave is a woman in some kind of crisis. Whether that crisis was medical, psychiatric, or some combination of both, the footage cannot tell us. What it can tell us is that her behavior across the span of this call is not consistent with someone who is simply irritated at being checked on. It is consistent with someone who is not in a stable state. The dog was inside that house with her. The dog was injured.
Headquarters, shots fired.
Are you fucking kidding me?
All right. Secure your weapon. Grab a first aid kit.
Susan, just stay still, okay?
Watch out. Yeah, cops are good. Get up here with your kit. Okay. Did you roll over?
Just roll towards me, okay?
Got that knife. I got the knife here. Okay, let's start getting pressure on these wounds.
Officers entered because an animal had been harmed and because the woman inside had a knife and was not responding to commands. Those are not arbitrary reasons. They are the specific circumstances that authorized the entry and the use of force that followed. Officer-involved shootings are reviewed. Every one of them. The body cam footage that we are watching right now is part of that review process. Evidence in an investigation that, at the time this transcript was recorded, had not yet concluded. What that investigation would examine is what every such investigation examines. Were the commands given? They were, multiple times clearly on camera. Was there time between commands for compliance? There was. Did the subject present an imminent threat? That is the question investigators would answer, based on everything the camera captured and everything the officers reported. This video cannot answer that question. Only the investigation can. What this video can do is show you exactly what officers encountered, starting with a 911 call from a woman who didn't know where she was, moving through a locked door and a window and a bathroom and a dog with a knife in it, and ending in the seconds after a shot was fired with officers applying pressure to wounds and calling for help. That is what happened. That is what the body cam shows. There is something about welfare check calls that does not get discussed enough in conversations about policing. They are among the most unpredictable calls that officers respond to. Not because the people involved are necessarily dangerous, most are not, but because the circumstances that produce a welfare check call are, by definition, circumstances where something has gone wrong in a way that the person at the center of it cannot fully communicate or control. Suzanne called 911. That act, picking up the phone, making the call, saying the words, "I think I'm having a heart attack," was itself a form of reaching out. A signal that something was wrong and that she needed help. What happened between that call and the moment officers entered her home is something the footage shows but does not explain. It shows a woman who wanted help and then did not want to be found. Who called and then retreated. Who was observed on the ground, moving through rooms, and who ultimately, when officers came through the window, had a knife. Why she had the knife, whether it was already in her hand, whether she picked it up when she heard them coming, whether it was connected to the dog or to something else entirely, is not answered by the transcript. What is answered, in the most direct possible way, is what the officers saw and what they did. They counted down to get through the door. They gave commands. They applied pressure to wounds. They tried. Because this transcript ends before any resolution is available, the outcome of this case, for Suzanne, for the dog, for the officers, for the investigation, remains unknown from what has been provided. If you are watching this video and you know someone who may be in a mental health crisis, the number for the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is 988. It is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and connects callers to trained counselors who can help navigate exactly the kind of situation that a 911 dispatcher is not always equipped to address alone. Suzanne called 911 because she needed help. I hope she found it.